And up here, they're listed in order of precedence, which is just easier for the chair to refer to during the conference. But we're going to be explaining the rules to you out of order, in more of a chronological order of what may happen in an actual committee session. And first, I'd just like to kind of discuss the purpose of the chair and why we use parliamentary procedure. They're just necessary to help the committee session run smoothly. The chair is there to keep order, as well as parliamentary procedure, make sure that the rules of procedure are being followed, and keep the sessions running in a productive manner. Just think of how a committee session would result in chaos, especially when you're trying to negotiate all these different sides of the story. And so, therefore, the chair's job of overseeing the committee is very important. And feel free to ask questions at any time in case you're really confused. And so, I'm going to start with point of order, which is actually the first one up there. This point calls attention to a violation of rules. Delegates can use this to point out improper procedure to the chair. You can interrupt the speaker with this rule in order to call to order a breach in the rules, which means if someone's up giving a speech or the chair is about to do something, you can go ahead and raise your placard and point out if you think something was done out of order. And the chair will rule on this point, and the chair's decision is final. All right, then moving right down the list again, we have point of parliamentary inquiry. When a delegate has a concern about the rules of proceedings of the committee, the delegate can address the chair using this point. And so pretty much you will have in your delegate handbook, you'll have this short form and you'll have the rules of procedure. But if you're still confused, you can go ahead and raise your placard and the chair will help you clarify it. And this also has an X under interrupt, which means you can at any point throughout the whole entire committee session, even in voting procedure, go ahead and use point of parliamentary inquiry. All right, next we have motion to set the speaker's time. This gets kind of confusing at first because first you're going to motion to set the speaker's time to discuss adopting the order of the agenda. And then once you adopt the order of the agenda, you will once again reset the speaker's time for substantive debate. And so first I'm just going to discuss what procedural and substantive debate is. Procedural is just when you're talking about what you would like the speaker's time to be set at. Substantive debate is when you're actually talking about the topic at hand, which you and the things you'll be working on with your working papers. And also, when you make a motion, motion is a noun, and so delegates should say I move, the verb form of motion, and so that gets confusing sometimes. You say I move to set the speaker's time at 30 seconds. So going back to motion to set the speaker's time, this motion is used to set or change the allotted amount of time given to delegates for debate. So once the speaker's time is set and you feel that you need 15 more seconds, people aren't getting enough time to speak, then you can change it. Also delegates, okay, yeah, and this motion requires one pro and one con speech, and it requires a simple majority to pass. All right, now I'll talk about motion to set the order of the agenda. At the beginning of the committee session, the committee will set the order in which the topics of the agenda are discussed. This will be the same order as in which draft resolutions are discussed also. And so this motion does not interrupt the speaker, and it requires a simple majority to pass. And once the order of the agenda is set, it will remain as is. We have a couple other motions that we'll discuss in a minute that you can do to kind of get around that, but yeah.
Okay, I'm going to talk about motion to suspend the meeting. There's a couple different times when you can use this. I'm going to talk about the different types of caucuses you can have. An unmoderated caucus, the delegates will specify a specific amount of time in which they're free to engage in informal discussion with one another to negotiate and draft working papers. The other type is a moderated caucus, which is when basically you have popcorn debate and the chair will call on delegates to debate the time, or debate the topic, and then it will also be used for a break such as lunch or dinner, or at the end of the day. Suspending the meeting means that it is not over and will be resumed at a time specified in the motion, and this requires a simple majority vote.